Back again for another video. On today's topic, we'll be talking about change. Yes, change. Where should I start? Let's see here. Change. Well, there is one thing that is always said in regards to change. The only thing that you can be certain of in life is death and uncertainty. Uncertainty means that there is always something that is going to change. But I want to challenge that a little bit. While I do understand certainty is to know, and to know is to be aware of in its validity, right? To know something, it's like if I know today is Tuesday, I'm certain that today is Tuesday. But certainty is based off of absolute, and there is nothing that is absolute in this world. But that's another lesson. Anyways, when it comes to certainty, this is part of change, because the only thing that is certain is change, right? But once again, I'm going to argue against this in some ways, not always, because for the majority of things, this is always true. But there are certain things about change that do not occur in regards to things manifesting into other things. Well, people will assume that time is always going to change things. But there are some things in this world that time does not change. These are the things that are not affected by time. For instance, one's willpower. Your willpower is not affected by time, and it has some effects. For instance, there are situations that can lower and raise your willpower, but this isn't based upon time itself. The only way that it's relative to time is that it is either the past, present, or future in regards to lowering or increasing your willpower to do or not do something. But when it comes to the evolution of people, some people do not change. It's just the way it is. We know this from looking at the world and growing up with people and having friends and, going places, experiencing the environment in life. We realize that some things never change. But where I'm going with this exactly, when it comes to women, they seem to believe that they are in this state of constant change. Well, so does my dog. My dog believes that they're in this state of constant change too. But literally, if I put my dog on a treadmill, they will think that they're in a constant state of change. And they may be metaphysically, they may gain some muscle tone as a result of running. They may experience some discomfort, from having to breathe so heavy now that they're running. But did they really change? This is the way that I see most women. They don't change because they don't have the proper apparatus to change. And the proper apparatus is a masculine man. Women believe that they can change themselves. To a degree, yes, they can. But this goes back to my analogy about metamorphosis, that women seem to believe that they are at their highest peak of existence as a grub worm. Like I said, they can spin the most web, and look, they can eat the most leaves, and look at them go. But little do they know their evolution has stopped because they're still a grub worm. But they don't know this. They seem to believe that getting a PhD, as we've heard many times, and getting a BMW, all white of course, or a Benz, whatever you may have, this is a common thing, that we see. And they believe that there's some type of different person now because they can regurgitate facts, quote unquote, about life. And they have gone on so many trips. Look at their passport. It is stamped to infinity. But yet, as the evolved man, we see them is not changing. They're still the same person. Once again, the grub believes that because it spins the most web it's ever spun in its life, that it somehow has evolved past its previous evolution, when in fact, it's still a grub. There's a saying that encapsulates what I'm saying here, that if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Now, yes, going to school can be very challenging. Holding a certain job can be very challenging. Learning a new craft or skill can be very challenging. But these are the things of the external existential, right? What about the internals? What are you taking on as a woman that will change you within? You buying that car didn't change who you are. You buying that house didn't change who you are. You being able to retain more information didn't change who you are. You being able to hold a job did not change who you are. There are only certain things in life that will change who you are. And once again, these are the things that challenge you. But we reach the circle again. Women believe that just because their existential existence has changed, thus they have changed. Just because they spin more web, they believe that they are somehow different. No. To the man who can see this, we understand that nothing has changed. But one would ask, well, why aren't women realizing this? Well, because society profits the most off of them being asleep to this knowledge. Every time that a woman divorces a man, every time that a woman puts a man on child support, every time that a woman destroys something of a man's, and all the things that women do. Every time that a woman takes money from a man just to go spend it on consumer goods, they're feeding the system in which tells them that they're at the top of the game. Why wouldn't a system who profits and benefits from their sleepiness, their unconsciousness, tell them anything otherwise? Yes, society's definitely going to tell you that you as a woman, yes, you should become everything that you want to be, and we'll help and assist you. Here's this loan. Here are these grants. Oh, you can't buy this car or house right out? No problem. We can help finance that. Why wouldn't they prop you up as a society who benefits from that? Why? Why would they tell you anything different? Why would they tell you that, if you find a man, then you should definitely stick with that man. And if you find a man who has any awareness about himself and his circumstances and the things around him, even about you and around your life, that you should stick with that man because he is what you need to evolve past the state of a grub. But the consequences of that is you will no longer be a consumer. You will no longer be a destroyer. You will no longer be a disruptor. You will help perpetuate the family, and specifically, once again, the black family, into the existence that it should be. Why would a society that was built to subjugate and to destroy the black family tell you anything different? Slavery still exists. Jim Crow laws still exist. All these things that we think somehow have changed have done nothing but metamorphose. See, because it's only the ones who have evolved who can see the evolution of things that have evolved, right? I know that may sound strange to say, but really think about it. How could one who exists in a two-dimensional field of existence understand when something has moved to the third dimension? To that dimensional creature of two dimensions, it will seemingly disappear. That's essentially what's happened with all these things that people thought disappeared. No, they just evolved into a different dimension that has a more reigning effect over the dimension that you're currently in. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it does not exist. All this systematic stuff that people talk about, yes, to some degree they're aware, but they're pointing in the wrong direction. They point at everyone else, but they don't realize that they have internalized the program that is necessary in order to perpetuate those things that once outwardly subjugated their existence. But now these things inwardly subjugate their existence. This is the reason why they cannot evolve. Once again, especially women, there are men who are definitely caught in the grips of this very thing, but those men are starting to awaken. This is the 52% that we commonly talk about, the ones who are not married and without children, is because they see something that others do not see. Remember, when you evolve into something, you disappear to those who are on that same level of evolution that you once were. Where have all the good men gone, remember? It's because they've evolved past the point of being seen. They're there. I see them. I know exactly where they are. I meet them every day. I run across them all the time. We have conversations, right? I know exactly who they are. But it seems that the women cannot see them for some reason. I wonder why that is. Would it be, once again, that the once two-dimensional creature who they shared a plane with has metamorphosed into a three-dimensional creature and they can no longer see them? Would that be it? I think so. But in the middle of the metamorphosis, there is normally some man out there who was going through the same change that I explained just now, who was reaching out to a woman of his peer group. And she thinks that she's at the top of her evolution. And suddenly he says, okay. And then he disappears. She can't understand this. Why? Because she thinks, why would anyone want to leave this existence where you can spin the most web possible? This is great. This is awesome. I eat all of the leaves. You hear me? There is no one getting fatter than I am, right? But they don't understand that there is something above that evolution that is at their base. And when that man reached out for them to pull them along to the next point of evolution, they said, oh no, this is too painful. I don't agree with that. And it goes against my core values, right? And then the man disappeared, right? Because he's not going to stick around. He sees something ahead of himself that is a more evolved state of being and a more evolved state of existence. So he took it upon himself to take that opportunity while he could. And that's what he did. And thus he disappeared. This is the change that is necessary. This is the reason why I often tell women, you should get under a man. Not just any man, not any male, but a man. But unfortunately, due to the fact of the gaps in evolved people, once a man evolves into something, women can't see him anymore. That's essentially what's happening around here. A lot of these men are frustrated, who have evolved into something greater than the grub. And they're wondering why these women can't see them. I mean, I hear them say that, but they have no sincere investment into that, because they're evolved people. So why would they care necessarily about people who have not reached that same state of evolution? But they still question, why can't they see me? Well, here's your answer in this video. They can't see you because they are still at a base level of existence. Even when you try to come near them as an evolved individual that you are, the change that you went through that is challenging, they didn't want to go through because it involved some level of discomfort and pain. They didn't want to go through that. But you come by them and you said, hey, I want to show you something. there's a different life and existence than what you believe is the highest and top of your game. And they say, oh, no, 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 no. I love it here. You can't pull me off of this dream of existence that I'm experiencing. And then the butterfly flies off, leaving the grub to just hang out in the leaves and go through its processes. But I talk about this in a very micro scale type of thing in regards to time, when it is a macro thing. While all of these grubs are enjoying the summertime and eating all the leaves and spinning all the webs, winter is definitely going to come. While the butterflies can fly away and hibernate, do whatever it is they do, procreate, right? Recreate themselves. The grubs who did not evolve, they won't pass along their genes, because it is in the evolved state that you pass along the evolution of the next generation. But you can't do that at a grub state. A lot of women believe that just because they have children, that now they are going to have another chance at passing along their genes to create more butterflies. This is not always true. It happens sometimes, but rarely. But most of those same eggs that are laid in the de-evolved state will not evolve into a butterfly ever. And this is the repetition that is going on. The more and more we get down the generational lines of existence in regards to humans, the more and more we solidify the state of two-dimensional creatures versus 3D. I don't know if anyone else is seeing this, but I am definitely seeing this. Even with the, what do they call them, Gen A or something like that? They're more de-evolved than I was at that same age. And people would say this is an old timer talking to the young timer type of thing. No, it's not. Because even when I was younger and I ran into older actual men, I recognized that they were more evolved than I was, and I respected them as such. Even now, I still run across those men who are older than I am, and I recognize their evolution is way along further than mine is, even though I hold a high level of maturity and I hold a high level of intellect. These are actual men that we're talking about. So therefore, yes, they're going to be a lot ahead of me because I'm an actual man too. But time is the only thing that separates us in how far along our evolution is. Most times I'm on the same path as they are, and I will become, if not them, but greater than what they are. Nonetheless, I recognize who they are and they recognize who I am, no matter what the age was. But when I look at the younger ages of men and women, I don't recognize them, because they are not from the same cloth in so many ways that, once again, they're going to remain grubs most of their lives, and that's unfortunate. But I guess that is the law of nature. There cannot be a large percentage of decadence. There has to be a large percentage that will not get the information properly and be able to use it properly. But this isn't necessarily the design of nature. I take that back. This is the design of society. I can't call it nature. It's a design that society wants you to follow. They want you to be less than what you're supposed to be, because it profits them once again, because they're not going to challenge you, because it would change you if they challenged you in the way that you need to be challenged, no matter if you're a man or a woman. But for some reason, it seems that the men have picked up on this a whole lot better and faster than the women have. But once again, they have a choice here, though. When they see an evolved male, they should cling on to him quick, fast, in a hurry, and learn what he has learned in order to evolve himself into the three-dimensional creature that he is. I mean, yes, I guess ignorance is bliss, but bliss ends. Are you prepared for that? Are you prepared for the end of what you think you understand ending? Are you prepared for the unavoidable winter cycle of life. Are you going to be the grasshopper in the story that I told? Is that what's going to happen? Unfortunately, for a majority of women out there, that's the fate that they're going to run into. Once again, there are a million more black women than there are black men, millions more. And they have this stigma about ownership. That's going to bite them, because while they're out trying to own a man, there are going to be women who are actually under a man, no matter if they have to share him or not, who are going to get the provision, protection, and everything that they need, the challenging that they need to evolve, because that's what this is about. Regardless of who you're with and how they handle things or whatever, do they have the tools to help you evolve? That's what this is all about. What you do with your evolution past that point is your business, but the goal should be evolution. The goal should be to find someone to challenge you, who cares about what their existence is so much. Can they challenge you? Do they give you the information that is necessary for you to change into something that you were not before? And I'm not talking about in a negative stance, but in a positive stance. Do they help you see the bigger picture? That's what's important. But if you enjoy no challenge, there will be no change. Anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on the good old Patreon. Those videos are definitely coming, like I said before. But until next time, this has been the Wolf and Beta Close. May you have a good day. And of course, peace be with you.